Welcome to True North Perspective. My name is Sean. First of all, I do want to thank you guys for your support so far. I'm growing slowly and I'm pleased with the progress. I really do appreciate all of those that have subscribed and take the time to watch my videos. Again, you know the drill. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get to 2,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Help me grow. You will get unfiltered news from me, breaking news. I'm going to try and get a bit more consistent. As you know, I haven't posted a video in about 2 weeks, so I do apologize for that. Going forward, I'll be a bit more consistent, get you more, breaking updates. Having said that, we do have a lot to talk about. I want to give you an update on what's going on in Gaza and what occurred at the UN. And Benjamin Netanyahu also made an appearance, and obviously it wasn't very good. I think the world is now realizing, or starting to realize, that he is a war criminal and a murderer. And in my hearts of hearts, I wish that he was arrested when he did step on the soil in the U.S., but wishful thinking, right? We're also going to be looking at the new documents that have been released, the Epstein documents, I should say. Elon Musk has been named as somebody that visited Epstein Island. Well, I'll give you an update on what's going on with that as well too, and we'll also look at Kash Patel's testimony in front of Congress, and I'm telling you, it was a beauty. He was cornered, and props and kudos to the Democrats for really hammering him, and you could tell that he was not prepared. He was cornered, so we'll look into that as well too. The other thing we're going to be looking at or discussing is Charlie Kirk. There's some new evidence that has come to light, as well as who he really was. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about who he really was. Again, let me just be very specific, and let me also just reiterate that there is no place for political violence or any type of violence. His death was definitely very unfortunate and tragic. He does have a wife and 2 kids, but he is not what people are claiming him to be. He is a white supremacist, a racist bigot. His rhetoric, and if you did listen to his podcasts, so you already know. If you haven't, you might want to listen to the full, because otherwise people will say, "Oh, you took it out of context." Trust me, there's nothing you take out of context. The man was a white supremacist. He was, he believed in segregation. He believed that women of color did not have the brain power to process. He did not believe in DEI. He certainly did not believe that Gaza should exist. He also made claims such as Martin Luther King was an awful person, and that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was also a mistake. And again, nothing, what I'm saying to you is taken out of context. If you listen to it in full, you will know for yourself. So take a look. But there's more there's more evidence that's come into light. For instance, there's a friend of his that used to go to school with him, came out and also made a video. So we'll also go over that. But let's get started. Again, I thank you for your support. Once again, drill. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with the reaction of the UN General Assembly when Benjamin Netanyahu made his appearance. And like I said, I was actually very happy because he was booed, and majority of the countries that were there left. Like I said, Gaza is in a very bad state right now. Starvation continues. There's no aid going on. The bombardment continues, and it's all in the name of Hamas. And right now, what they're doing is they are actually attacking civilian areas. And I'm going to show you some videos, and I urge you not to turn away, so you know that you are fully aware of what's going on in Gaza. Okay, so let's take a quick look here. And so this is the first video I'm going to show you here, and it's courtesy of Megatron, and there it is. So let me play that for you.
Please, order in the hall. Please, order in the hall. Please,
so you can see that majority of the attendees left, and rightfully so, because he came in and he was basically trying to justify what he's doing in Gaza. And once again, he blamed everything on Hamas. Again, what happened on the 7th of October definitely should be condemned, but this is way past that. I'm going to show you some statistics of how many people have died so far in Gaza, and it's way beyond October 7th. So we saw that in one video. I'm just going to pause it and we can move on here. Let me go right back in here and I will show you the other things. And so that's the massive walkout here. Courtesy of Megatron, you can see he was booed. This is also courtesy of Dr. Omar Suleiman, ICC criminal. Netanyahu avoided flying over France, Spain, and other European countries to evade arrest for war crimes. Today he's in New York being booed by the international community. Everyone knows who you are now. And so let's take a quick look here again one more time. Different angle. So let me also tell you, the people that are clapping are his own people from Israel. Okay, and so that's what it is. Everybody else is gone. Nobody wants to listen to him, and it is a very short video. There's no justification of what's going on in Gaza, right? There's no justification. His speech itself also was not, very convincing. Everybody knows that he's a war criminal. So I'm going to show you some videos, and these are very, very recent. You can see here September the 25th from yesterday. It's just absolutely disgusting. I know it's going to be hard to look at, but I urge you guys, please, whatever you do, don't turn away. This is a little kid, and and basically he's saying, I was sitting next to my father on the chair when suddenly all the glass fell on my back. I started screaming, my father, my mother, my sisters. When I saw that they were okay, I said, Alhamdulillah. One thing we have to notice here is that these kids, look at that, they're hanging on to the faith of, they're hanging on to the hope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or God, even though they're going through all these atrocities. So let's take a look here and, look at them.
والله انك بطل.
كان قاعد زيك فجأة جنب ابوي على الكرسي فجأة هو بالماء احمر بنزل على كل الازاز اللي ورا ظهري. انا بقول زيك بطلعش فيه صرت اصوت على امي وابويا وخواتي. مسكت ايد الاخت الصغيرة اللي مفتوح راسها مسكت ايد اختي وسمعت صوتها اللي هي هادي وامي مسكتني 100 مرة وابويا طلع برا وصار يشد فينا. انا لما نشوفتهم بخير عيلتي طلعت اجري برا وقلت الحمد لله انهم بخير.
ايش اسمك يا بطل؟
عز الدين.
والله انك بطل.
That is not normal. This is in no way normal. Nothing justifies this. Nothing. These guys are not Hamas. This kid is not Hamas. This kid is not a terrorist. He was hanging out with his family and the bombs dropped. This is just, there's no justification for this. This is even worse here. So again, please do not turn your away. This is another child here. My mom is alive. My mom is still alive. And so this is just after a bomb drops. Again, it is in a civilian area. It's only 10 seconds. Take a look. They are literally targeting civilian areas. They're literally killing innocent children now. So if it's not genocide by starvation, it is by carpet bombing. And again, I ask you, and I've said this many times, what is the justification of this? Again, what happened on October 7th? Yeah, definitely, that must be condemned. But this doesn't justify what happened on October 7th, right? 53,000 people, and that's on the lower side, have already died right now, including elders who have been starved to death. And we're not done yet. So again, don't turn away. Take a look at this. Look at this guy. If you're scrolling, please leave a dot. Drinking water. He's skin and bones. And they're chasing these people. They're cornering them. They're, forcing them to, basically leave Gaza, West Bank. Although Trump said, he's promising that he won't let them, Israel annex West Bank. But you can't trust a word that comes out of that orange anus's mouth, right? So let's keep going here and look at this. Now, this is really, really sad. This is just after a bombing at a hospital.
Mama? No.
He's asking for his mother. At this age, these children should be going to school, playing soccer or football, whatever it is outside, having, proper meal. Again, we have to admit here, right, that medical help, medical aid, food, water are necessities. They're human rights, right? They aren't privileges. Everybody should have access to that, right? And this is not a war tactic, right? This is not killing Hamas. This is not eliminating terrorists. This is genocide, right? Genocide. Starvation has been declared, and this is man-made starvation. Let's keep going. We're still not done here. This interview is very eye-opening. It is a little bit old, but this is a Jewish doctor that has returned. He's an American Jewish doctor. He talks about the atrocities that he saw. It's only a 2-minute, 51 seconds, but, and I think I mentioned this in my last video. These kids, and again, it is very graphic, so I urge you, if you can look at it, open your eyes. Everybody needs to know what's going on, right? basically the doctor says that, he's, like I said, he's an American doctor, just returned, and the snipers there in the Israeli IDF, they're hiding this stuff, are actually playing games where they pick parts that they're going to shoot at for innocent children. So one day it'll be the skull, one day it'll be the child's private part, the testicle. And so at first they didn't believe it, but then they would get the same repeated cases. I mean, one day they would get 15 to 20 kids that have bullet wounds in the head and in the skull. And you'll see this first. So let's take a quick minute to watch this. And this, I would say honestly, this is these guys are animals. Really, they're animals. Like, it's just disgusting. But let's take a quick look. It's only 2 minutes 51 seconds, and I'll play it for you.
All of my stethoscope over their heart.
When were you in Gaza?
End of April for the first couple weeks. And then there's sniper bullets. I have children that were shot twice.
Wait, you're saying that children in Gaza are being shot by snipers?
Definitively. I have 2 children that I have photographs of that were shot so perfectly in the chest I couldn't put my stethoscope over their heart more accurately, and directly on the side of the head in the same child. No toddler gets shot twice by mistake by the world's best sniper. And they're dead center shots.
In fact, more than 20 doctors recently in Gaza also told Sunday Morning about gunshot wounds to children. One American doctor told us he even reviewed CT scans to confirm what he saw because he, quote, didn't believe that this many children could be admitted to a single hospital with gunshot wounds to the head. Some shootings have been captured on video.
So, of all the disaster zones you've seen, how does Gaza compare?
All of the disasters I've seen combined. 40 mission trips, 30 years, ground zero.
Wow.
Earthquakes, all of that combined.
Wow.
Doesn't equal the level of carnage that I saw against civilians in just my first week in Gaza.
And when you say civilians, is it mostly children?
Almost exclusively children. I've never seen that before. Never seen that. I've seen more incinerated children than I've ever seen in my entire life combined. I've seen more shredded children in just the first week.
Shredded?
Shredded.
What do you mean?
Missing body parts, being crushed by buildings, the greatest majority,
Jesus.
or bomb explosions,
Wow.
the next greatest majority.
Wow.
We've taken shrapnel as big as my thumb out of 8-year-olds.
The UN reports that to date, more than 80% of Gaza's population has been displaced and the majority of its buildings destroyed. A reality which has taken its own toll on the well-being of children.
What about the emotional wounds?
How can you measure that? I can't measure my own. How do you be an orphan and watching your family, melted in front of you and shredded in front of you? How do you fix that? Ever fix that?
In fact, so many Palestinian children have had family members killed that doctors created a shorthand term, WCNSF. Wounded child, no surviving family.
Wow. Unbelievable. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. I wish I had some good news for you, to tell you things are getting better, but this is only getting worse. We've heard lots of talk. We've heard multiple countries say that they're declaring, or they're going to basically, declare that Palestine is a state, which is good in its own merit. But it's time to stop this completely. It's time to embargo. It is time to put sanctions, and it's time to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. Right, because he's a warmonger. It's obvious. He's got wars going on, basically with Palestine, with Iran, with Syria, with Lebanon. Look, again, in the end, this is all being done for one purpose, and that is basically, the major the project that they call Greater Israel. This is what they're doing. They're sacrificing their innocent children's lives, the elderly, because there's nobody there. The young men that were there, almost all of them have died. Hospitals have been completely pummeled, right? They have maybe 1 or 2 working hospitals, and they attack those hospitals claiming that, Hamas is hiding underground. And to be frankly honest, Hamas has offered to leave, drop their weapons, but they're looking, for a proper permanent peace solution. And Benjamin Netanyahu has to have a boogeyman, so that is why he's not agreeing. Right, he has to have a boogeyman. He needs an excuse to continue attacking Gaza and stay out of prison. But you see this this is firsthand, guys. This is not AI, or it's not made up. You're seeing this firsthand. So again, I urge you guys to once again keep the pressure on, keep protesting, as you know that there are a bunch of protests going on around the world. When Benjamin Netanyahu was basically in New York, there was a protest outside, and you know what? I can show you that video before we end. Let me just quickly show it to you right now. 1 second here. All right, and this is it's an atrocity as to what's going on here. It's just, and if you get a chance to listen to his speech, because he's trying to justify his war crimes, and honestly, it's just, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't justify. We'll watch the video on the next one. I don't want to extend this video too much, but in any case, I ask you guys to keep putting up the pressure. Make sure that your voices are heard, and don't turn your back on Gaza or on Palestine. It doesn't matter what religion they are, because this Christians there too, there's Muslims there too, and they're all being persecuted right now. They're being forced to leave their homes. Occupiers from Israel are actually coming in and burning their houses, and it's not going to end until something is done. So write letters to your MPs if you're in Canada, to your premier, to Mark Carney himself if you're in the US. Write to your Congress, tell them to stop taking money from AIPAC, and tell them to vote to stop sending weapons and enabling genocide. Right? This has to end. No more. How many more innocent lives have to be taken? How many more kids is it gonna take before this stops? This is an unwarranted war. So I ask you guys, I urge you to keep speaking about it. Please share my video, like, subscribe, leave a comment as to what you think. It helps with the algorithm. And once again, I thank you for your support. I'll see you in the next video.